Psych 107 Final Project by Alton Teinert. I chose to analyze Leonard Shelby from the movie Memento. Leonard Shelby is a man on a quest to find his wife's murderer. This movie is set at around the turn of the century in the US, so the culture is pretty similar to our own, just a bit in the past. Mr. Shelby suffers from anterograde amnesia, or the inability to create new memories after a traumatic event. A therapist in this time might diagnose him with short-term memory loss or amnesia. I believe almost every culture would recognize this disorder in some capacity because it is not that uncommon for someone to suffer from something like this, and it has clearly identifiable traits. In our culture, a person who presents this might have to overcome the stigma of people thinking they are not intelligent just because they can't remember things. Leonard shows both memory loss and inability to recognize familiar faces and things as early as the first scene in the movie. In this scene, he talks to a man who he does not recognize, but who has obviously talked to him multiple times before. In this scene, he also does not know what his car looks like except that he has a picture of it. Confusion is the weakest symptom because although he does get confused at times, he has a meticulous system to help him get through his daily life without much trouble. And who doesn't get confused at some times? To treat anterograde amnesia, you need a long-term care solution that has someone available to give emotional support at all times. This is necessary because the person who has amnesia is not equipped to carry out a normal daily life, and like anyone else who's been through a traumatic event, will need emotional support. It may be considered unethical to put him in such a facility because he is otherwise a normal person. It would be difficult to carry out in this situation specifically because of how desperate he is to find his wife's killer. All in all, this seems to be an accurate portrayal of what your life might look like if your brain reset every 5 minutes. I would say it is very important that mental illnesses are portrayed correctly in film, as it is most people's primary exposure to such an illness, and as such affects our understanding greatly. Thank you for listening.